Hi, everyone, and welcome to our September episode as we get into the autumn season. Have you had an opportunity to go to any of the Irish fests around the U.S.? Well, if you haven't, there's still some time. There's some festivals going on in September and even into October. And we have in our third episode of the third season, a rather special one as we start talking about our Irish Saturday. And then also we have a hybrid webinar coming up for the month of September, which means that it's going to be a live episode in person, and then we'll also be showing it virtually. So if you don't have a chance to being there live, you can still watch it online. And if you have a brick wall that you've had trouble in your research knocking down, well, this is the episode you want to watch because the webinar is all about knocking down those brick walls. All right, let's get right to it and talk about what we've got going on for September. Our Irish Saturday for the month of September will be held on September 14th, so stop on by the Hoffman Research Library, which is located at the Minnesota Genealogy Center in Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Here's an opportunity to get some of your Irish research questions answered. The Minnesota Genealogy Center is located at 1385 Mendota Heights Road, Suite 100. You can also stop by the library during regular business hours. And to find out more about the library and the hours of operation, go to the website at mngs.org. And our September monthly webinar will be our brick wall panel discussion. The title, What is Your Brick Wall? This is scheduled for September 28th. Once again, we're going back to a hybrid event. So if you're in and around Minnesota and would like to attend the live event in person, you can register for that. The event will be held at the Minnesota Genealogy Center at 1385 Mendota Heights Road, Suite 100 in Mendota Heights. Registration for the event is limited to 40 people. Tours of the research library and the Irish collection will be offered following the program and during the lunch and social time. Now, if you're not around Minnesota, no problem. There is no limit to the number of virtual attendees. Our panelists this year will be genealogist Tom Rice, who's been on the panel in the past, and Kathy Lunn. Got a brick wall in your research which is giving you a hard time? Then this is the webinar for you. You can also watch the event online, again, or in person. You can register on the IGSI website at irishgenealogical.org. Again, the date is September 28th. I recently had a chance to talk to one of the co-chairs for the Education Committee, Trish Little-Taylor, who helped put this event together. Trish talked about what folks can expect from our panel discussion and even mentioned a few things that could help her out during the panel discussion as well.
My dad's mother's side, on the other hand, is my brick wall. Between the names of Daly and Toomey, and they ended up living in Monmouth County, New Jersey. And the section of Monmouth County they lived in is all farming areas. Mm-hmm. And it all just simply says Ireland. First brick wall I was able to come down was, it's go to the cemetery. People don't want to be buried alone. They're going to find a way to be buried with somebody they know, whether it's a friend, it's a cousin, it's a next door neighbor that used to live next door to them way back when. They're going to want to be with somebody. So at any rate, I knew where my great-grandmother's cemetery plot was, and I went over there. But across the road was these people named Toomey. So I took down all the information. Now, for me, the easiest way is take your photograph, whether it be a regular print photograph or your cell phone. Take it and get all of those people. Well, Patrick Toomey, I'd like to make him one of my saints of brick wall breaking. Because, again, while I knew her maiden name was Toomey, that's all I knew. And this is where you have to use your newspaper research to get around your brick walls. Basically said that he was killed in an accident. The accident was he was taking a load of tomatoes to the Keyport terminal that took it up to New York City. And coming back, he didn't hear the train, and he and the horse were both killed. I think he may have had one too many. Mm-hmm. But in his obituary, it says he survived by his wife and 6 children, his brother Michael Toomey, and his sister, Mrs. Patrick Daly. First time I've been able to get that full-fledged connection of, yeah, this is the right family that I can start going up that family tree. Still working on it. I've only been working on it since 1982. So sometimes, but I'm finding some small cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And the cracks are going in and looking at the other family members from that cemetery.
Brick wall, then, is something for people who are probably a little confused as to what we're talking about. Brick wall would be something that is hard to try and accomplish the solution as to about that ancestor, but
Right.
there's different ways of finding ways around the brick wall.
Yeah, using your newspapers,
Mm-hmm.
church records. Again, one of the problems with my dailies and Toomeys is that they were in a mission church, and it's a Catholic church. Unfortunately, the Diocese of Trenton has no records for their small Catholic churches, so I have to go and figure out which Catholic church. I think I found it, but when I went to visit them, unfortunately, they're going, well, the person who does that's not here. And you're going, several words. It's going to be Kathy Lund and Tom Rice.
Okay.
And they're both very accomplished, and they're both looking forward to doing this. Tom has done a number of our brick wall sessions, and he used to run a lot of our Saturday morning sessions pre-COVID. He's an excellent researcher. Looking at what a brick wall is, we did brick walls last year. And again, it's paying attention to the details. And a funny story from last year, Kathleen Foley, who used to run this organization, the education group, submitted one. And she had a sister, one of her grandfather's sisters was Sister Joseph. Well, I'm active in a ladies group, Ladies Ancient Order of Hibernians, and there's something called the Nuns of the Battlefield. Well, a friend of mine sent me the book, and I'm reading. And Kathy's sister Joseph is in this book with almost a whole chapter about her work during the Civil War. So again, one little thing, I ended up sending a copy of the chapter on Sister Joseph to Kathleen, and she's like, oh my God, I didn't know this woman was so, again, little clues. And I think that's one of the things that, and you have to go back, and this is going to sound, sometimes you have to go back and re-look at your history. What have you done? Mm-hmm. Because you may have overlooked something that, oh my God, that's one of the reasons if my office is a mess, because I'm going back and reorganizing my work, because I found out I already have my great-grandmother's death certificate from Ireland. Again, I copied it ages and ages ago, but it just put it in a file. So you need to go back and look at it. You might find the clues you're looking for, and it's sitting right in front of you. Sometimes when you're sitting there writing out, what do I want to say about somebody? It's you go and go, oh, well, I didn't know I had this. Well, maybe I need to look at that. It causes each of us to go back in and re-examine our histories. And you're going to find hints. And sometimes it's just, oh, I didn't think about that. And again, part of it is don't forget the brothers and sisters, or even the cousins. They may have that clue, particularly for those who are dealing with Irish Catholic, anyone who went into the priesthood or sisterhood, because they have to do very detailed information. So there may be a clue there, and it may just be a second cousin that's giving that clue. But again, it's that paying attention to the small details. You're going to find some surprising things. I was quite surprised to see how many of my grandmother's cousins died of tuberculosis. That really surprised me, because these people were dying in the 30s. I knew tuberculosis was a biggie. I just didn't realize how close to home it was. But you're going to find those kinds of details.
Be patient, because
yes.
Knocking the brick wall may take time.
Oh yeah, as I said, I'm still working on some of my dad's mother's side since 1982. I found that my grandmother was the executrix of her mother's will, and I was hoping that it would give me the names of the two boys where they lived in Long Island. Nope. That it gave me the names. It just simply said Long Island, didn't give me any more information. Again, you got a cemetery you think the family might be in, check out the name and check out the variations on the name. Little is Little, at least that's the way my side of the family spells it. But so the folks in Ireland spell it Lyttle. But you got to be open to playing with it. I think this time when we do brick walls, we're going to be talking about what is a brick wall and how do you come up against it.
Again, the date for this hybrid event is September 28th. You can register for both the live and the virtual portion of this webinar online at irishgenealogical.org.
Welcome back to Irish History Minute with Irish Genealogical Society International. Today we'll be talking about women whose lives were permanently changed due to criminal transportation. New South Wales as a penal colony was primarily home to those who ran the colony and those convicts sent there via the British courts. Transportation was seen as more humane than execution, even though many convicts were sentenced to a decade of transportation for as little as theft of sheets or spoons. It's estimated that over 160,000 convicts were transported to Australia between 1788 and 1868, and that approximately 25,000 of those were women. Of the 25,000 women transported, about half ended up in New South Wales and half in Tasmania. Many of them were convicted of non-violent, poverty-driven crimes, and of course, given that these years span some of the hardest years within Ireland, it's not surprising that Irish were in high numbers among them. Of the approximately 12,500 women transported to Tasmania, over 4,500 were sent from the Irish courts. While some women were transported with children or convicted alongside friends or family, most were separated from all family and friends. Even if they did bring a child with them, many times those children were taken from them and put in orphanages upon arrival. If a convict was married, their spouse wasn't transported unless also convicted of a crime, which left convicts in an odd place of being married but half a world away from their spouse, with very little opportunity to reunite. The cost and effort of travel at that time meant that the journey to or from Australia was a grueling, expensive one that the average lower-income person just couldn't afford. Like many people, most convicts had never left their hometown or county or been on a boat before, much less traveled across the globe. For this reason, once transported, most convicts remained in Australia. Although convicts could finish serving their time, that didn't always mean they could return to their lives back home. Many stayed where they were and built a new life out of their transportation. Today, about 10% of Australia's population claims Irish heritage, many of whom descend from those convicts. If you want to learn more, members can check out our newest issue of the SEPs, which features authors from the US, the UK, and Australia writing about researching convict ancestors. That's it for today's Irish History Minute with IGSI.
And that's all the time we have for this month. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for Trish Little-Taylor for the information on the Knocking Down the Brick Wall webinar. That if you haven't had a chance to register, still some time to do that. And also to Janelle for the Irish History Minute. And thanks for joining us, and hope to see you again next month. Until then, have yourself a great month. Are you a member of the IGSI? Well, if you're not, here's all you have to do. Head to the website at irishgenealogical.org. There you'll find the join link on the left side of the page, and that's where you can sign up and become a member. You can also register for any of the webinars this year on the website as well, and as a member you can also see past webinars from the previous year. And besides enjoying all the members' benefits, you can always sign in and go over many of the programs and services that the IGSI has to offer, and that would include viewing past webinars, surname interests, the e-newsletter. Would you like to be a volunteer at the IGSI? Here's all you have to do. Get on the website at irishgenealogical.org and scroll down to the volunteer link. There you can see all the options that are available to you. That would include helping out with the Irish Fest in Minnesota, or any of the social and educational programs, Or you could even help out with the social media platforms and podcasts, or the SEPS magazine and Genealis newsletter. Just click on the Volunteer Now link and sign up. For more information about the Irish Genealogical Society International, go to the website at irishgenealogical.org. And for questions regarding the podcast, send an email to podcast@irishgenealogical.org.